Well, who saw that coming? Most of the experts had this one penciled in as a certain victory for the Giants. But what about those Magpies? A fantastic 32-point win on Saturday afternoon at Spotless Stadium. Joining me, as he does every week for The Agenda, is Jay Clark from the Herald Sun. Jay, gee, what a win.
It was fantastic, Chris. So those second and third quarters in particular were stunning. I mean, not only probably Collingwood's best performance of the season, but really they played some of the best footy we've seen from any club this year in that second and third quarter. It was sensational. Look, Collingwood's first half of the season was disappointing. Might cost them a finals berth. But when you look at the high water mark against GWS at the weekend, they beat Geelong, nearly beat the Bulldogs. I mean, when they get these players back, Collingwood, think their footy is competitive enough to beat anyone against Adelaide, who was up and about this weekend. It'll be another challenge.
Yeah, we'll get to that in just a moment. But let's focus in on the second term. 9 goals to some amazing football played. And it almost reminded me of the pre-season when, on a couple of occasions, I remember down at Geelong, the Magpies kicked 11 goals against the Cats, and I know it was only a NAB challenge, but this was the sort of football, the pressure. Whenever GWS got an opportunity to release the valve in the back half, we had players situated everywhere. I mean, it was just a fantastic brand of football.
I love the physicality and that tackling intensity. When you go back to the Premiership in 2010, that was always the barometer for mine. It was the physical pressure of this Collingwood side. You see for Solo there, great to see his forward line spark back. But it was Taylor Adams, Jared Blair, we saw him before. Benny Sinclair was another. They were ferocious at the footy and cut GWS off at the source. I mean, absolutely belted them in the clearances. And I mean, this is coming off the Giants being described as one of the greatest midfields of the past 10 years. It's that sort of discussion, but trailing by 4 goals down at quarter time, the leaders too, you've got to acknowledge here, because there's been conversations about Collingwood's leadership this year. Chriso, is it good enough? Well, they were down by 4 goals at quarter time away, and they produced that sort of effort. And Brodie Grundy, for a young ruckman, I know we're going to talk about him, but he was brilliant. And Taylor Adams, I mean, we talked about the Shaw Adams deal, how good that was for Collingwood. Started in the back line, the second quarter moved to the midfield, was an absolute trigger for the Collingwood side. It was a great effort.
It was fantastic. Can you speak about Brodie Grundy? It should have been 10-2. He missed that set shot in the last, or the dying seconds of the second quarter. Could have been 10 goals.
Be kicking himself.
But one of the features of the afternoon was the performance of the key forwards, in particular Travis Cloke and Jesse White, who, I mean, this was Travis Cloke of old, with the way he was clunking them all around the ground, and Jesse White combining here with Travis Cloke. But look at those hands. That's the Travis Cloke we know. He
looked unstoppable at times. I mean, we've been wanting to see this from Clokey for a while. He's been down, he's been hesitant, he's been fumbly, but you've got to take your hat off to this man, because he was challenged this year, Chriso. He's been down, he's been not confident. The Collingwood coaches and physical staff have challenged him on a few things, asked him to improve his mobility, just change his training a little bit, and he finally got the reward for hard effort. And you can see him and White combine. Nathan Buckley's been looking for the best mix, and White's sort of athleticism and mobility, his attack at the contest, combined with Cloke's sort of aggression, sticky hands, his own sort of hard work to present moving targets, and he crashed the backs, Chriso. I mean, as a big man, you would have loved that. But the question has to be asked now, what does the future hold for Travis Cloke? Is he still that must-have required piece, or, you know, is his future still up in the air?
No, I don't think there's any doubt about his future. I think he wants to stay at Collingwood, and I think Collingwood want to have him here. And it was a question with those weeks he was playing in the VFL where there were a couple of issues about him contesting the ball, and that was
getting to the contest,
flying for marks, and really getting involved in the game and
being physical.
Absolutely, and that was all put to bed on Saturday. Now the challenge for Trav and for everyone is that can he maintain that performance over the next few weeks, and I'm sure he will, and I'm sure he'll be a fixture of 2017.
Well, him and White, 22 marks on Saturday, and Darcy Moore, who's an absolute
you couldn't even
star.
Find room for Darcy Moore in the highlight package, mate. I was a bit disappointed with that.
But the Rising Star judges seriously consider this man. That's another chat for another day. Anyway,
let's talk. You did talk earlier about Brodie Grundy and what a starring role he had on the weekend. What a performance. Second quarter, he had 12 disposals, a mark, 11 hit-outs, 3 clearances himself and a couple of tackles. And he was just unbelievable. Now, a couple of interesting sort of kicks here, but that's not necessarily a reflection of how well he played. But he was up against one of the best ruckmen. That was the tackle right on half-time, and he missed that shot at goal. That would have been 10 for the quarter. But Shane Mumford is a star. And
intimidating?
Absolutely, and Brodie Grundy took it to him, and it was a great game.
We know he's very good around the ground, Chris, but this has been his key area of improvement. He had to improve his ruck work, his tap work, and to hand Shane Mumford's to him on a plate was just a brilliant effort. And Bucks challenged him at quarter time. I mean, this is a guy who started the season, Chris, out of the team. I mean, that's a big challenge to a young guy. But to be 22 and for the past couple of years really be leading this club's ruck. I mean, what other ruckman this young be leading? Scott Lycett's 23. Andrew Phillips, I think he's 24. The guy is playing beyond his years. It's a tough position. And look, he was 3 votes for me. As good as Travis Clyke was, thought Brodie Grundy got the 3 votes of the weekend.
He was fantastic. Now, we just want to have a look at last 3 weeks. He has been outstanding, and it's coincided with 3 consecutive wins by the Magpies. There's a look at his round 1 to round 12 averages, and then the last 3 weeks. And you can see, I mean, the first 12 weeks, he wasn't that bad, but just stepped it up a few notches, averaging for a ruckman over 20 disposals in the last 3 weeks and 5 clearances. I mean, that is fantastic stuff.
I think you go back a couple of years, Collingwood used the first round draft pick on this guy. Initially in that draft year, he was touted as a top 3 pick. He slipped all the way back to 18, and you look at that sort of production, what is it, his 3rd year? And you start to think that Collingwood has got this guy pretty cheap, I reckon.
Yeah, look, it looks like a fantastic player, long-term player for the Magpies. Let's talk about one of the inclusions on Saturday. Brent Macaffer hasn't played since round 2, and he got the job on Heath Shaw, and what a job he did.
We talked about it last week, that it was going to be a big part of Collingwood's strategy, was how they were going to lock down on Heath Shaw. Look, he still had 20 possessions, but I think you've got to give the points to Brent Macaffer. Kicked a wonderful goal there. I think he just really curbed Heath Shaw's impact, and look at this, Chris, we've seen this before, haven't we? Getting a bit narky with his own teammates. So I think Macaffer's discipline, defensive role really has got to be admired. Is he the most loved player on this Collingwood side? Do you think that he is a spiritual leader?
Well, he's in the leadership group. He's in the leadership group, and look, as I said, he's only played in round 2, and this is his first game after that, and there he is having a casual word to former teammate Heath Shaw post-match. But
so I was just stitched up there,
but didn't they get around him after he kicked that goal? It was great.
Do you think players can have that sort of impact on teammates, that you can lift standing next to a guy like that?
I agree. No doubt. And it'll be interesting to see what happens from here, though, because he came in for that specific role on Heath Shaw.
Well, he's not best 22 every week.
Is there a role for him in this match coming up against Adelaide?
Well, I watched Rory Laird on Sunday when they pantsed Carlton, and I reckon there is a job for him to play on Laird. He's probably a bit more blue collar. He had 35 possessions against Carlton. Him and Rory Sloane are the 2 midfield backline men to shut down. I think Macaffer could stay in to shut down Rory. Like, Rory Sloane's another prospect, obviously. Betts, Jenkins, they've got so many good players. But I reckon Brent might stay in the team.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting. Well, Levi Greenwood, of course, it was almost out Greenwood in Macaffer, so look, it will be interesting to see what they do at the selection table.
What about Greenwood Sloane? Would you go do that?
Yeah, that might be an option as well. Just don't want to lock down on too many. But
what about Eddie Betts?
Stop there, mate. We're going to talk a little bit more about Adelaide towards the end of the show, but let's hear, for all thanks to Collingwood Media, Travis Cloke and Brent Macaffer speaking both about Macaffer's role.
It was great, and obviously Heath being Heath, we all still love him, we all get along with him very well, and you catch up and talk to him, and it was nice to see him out there having a go at the boys, having a chuckle, and also that competitiveness that comes out in Heath, I think brought the best out of Brent as well, and it was a fantastic battle to watch it go on. I guess I had front row seats to watch it happening, and I don't know who gets the biscuits in the end, both played very well, but all I care about is Cap got through the game, played really well, and let's look forward to the future now.
Yeah, it was more just wanted to try and make Heath accountable. trying to get into dangerous positions myself where I had to make him come and man me up. So we know how good he is at dropping off and running around getting the quick hands and stuff like that. So we were starting to get a run on and for me to contribute and kick that goal and just the support I got from the boys. And I've had that all during the week once we found out I was going to play this week, and obviously I haven't played since round 2. So that was an awesome feeling, and look, just happy to come in, play my role, be a part of a victory, and a part of this young up and coming side.
Yeah, he certainly played his role. A fantastic performance from Brent Macaffer. Let's talk about the man we spoke about in the lead-up to this match, and that, of course, was Adam Treloar, playing for the first time against his old club. Didn't have the greatest of starts. There were a couple of things that didn't go right. A missed handball there, perhaps, and just not quite getting it right with a smothered kick, but, gee, didn't he work his way into the game?
It was a nervous start. It was probably a bit of a fumbly start from Adam Treloar. I think he said before the game to his teammates that he had a few butterflies in the stomach, and you can expect that up against his old mates. But the thing with this guy, Chris Owen, we see it week in, week out, is he is a tireless worker, and I think with the support of his teammates, he really found his rhythm in this game. Yeah, that's a superb pass. And he's tackling too, so although he wasn't getting a lot of the ball early, he was certainly putting the pressure on his opposition, was a big part in this Collingwood midfield revival, I thought at the weekend. So, yeah, it wasn't one of his best games, but it was a difficult challenge, and I certainly played his role. He was probably overshadowed by another former Giant, Taylor Adams, in this one.
Yeah, true. He did have 27 disposals, 6 clearances, 5 inside 50s and 5 tackles. So by anyone's calculations, that is a fantastic game. And incidentally, you can watch all the build-up, all thanks to Collingwood Media, online or at the Collingwood official app. The build-up to the week for Adam Treloar.
Now, he does some weird stuff, Treloar, like he's shaving and he's watching The Simpsons in the shower and stuff. Followed him this whole week, so I can't wait to watch that.
All right, now I want to talk about another issue, and it reared its head in Perth at Subiaco Oval and did again on Saturday at Spotless Stadium, Jay. Now, we discussed it then, players slipping over, and it was out of control. What is going on, mate?
It's been a bugbear of yours, I know it frustrates you. Well, remember in that key West Coast game, the Pies were, I think, in that game up until about three-quarter time. Then Frost passed to Smith, who slipped over, and that changed that game, and they lost by about 40 points.
He's not been out or not.
Come on, mate. He's a very smooth mover, but they were very slippery on that occasion. So, I don't know what happens. I mean, if it's a bit wet, are they allowed to change their boots at quarter time, half time?
Absolutely.
Of course they are. Like, maybe Bucks has got to
come down harder.
Yeah, maybe it's a discussion for the boys this week. They did a lot right, the Collingwood boys this week, but footwear, question mark.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, time now for our Monday moments. Kick us off, mate.
Oh, look, Jeremy Howe, he is surging up Collingwood's best and fairest charts. I want to show you a couple of pieces of his aerial play this week, Chriso, that will get you up and about. Now, this is just a spoil. That is his best work. That's how this man rolls. That's how spectacular he is. That's just the standards ball. Hand on Nathan Brown's head. Look how high that right knee of his get up. This guy's so exciting to watch. So that's his practice run. Another high ball into the same pocket now. What a grab. That's how many years in a row can this man win Mark of the Year? He is sensational. In all seriousness, Chriso, he's made such a difference to that back line because he's aggressive. He plays in the air, he plays on the ground, and he takes it on. He does the kick-ins. He's one of the pickups of the season. You want me to calm down, don't you? What about you?
No, I want you to get up and about because my Monday moment just eclipsed that.
Yep.
And it was during the moment, the second quarter in the blitz.
Yes.
What about this from Jared Blair on the boundary line, if you don't mind? He didn't even mean to kick it. He wanted to get it to the top of the goal square. No, we'll give him absolute full credit. That is an unbelievable goal.
Well, you saw Joshy Dacos, his old man, Peter Dacos, nail a couple of those. That is just as good. So Blair, while he's doing all the tackling work, Chris, so he's finishing him off as well. So
yeah,
nice
that was some sensational goal. All right, now, before we go, we want to just draw a line here in terms of expectations. So we've got 7 games to go. Now, there they are, 7 games. How many can Collingwood win? And does there need to be a realignment of expectation after the Giants' victory? Because making the top 8 is still going to be highly, highly unlikely unless you win all 7.
I don't think so.
But what are the expectations for these last 7 games?
Well, Collingwood have already won 7, Chriso, and they won 10 last year. Now, the bar has been raised there with some recruits. Adelaide this weekend is going to be tough. I think North Melbourne are gettable. I think West Coast are gettable over here. We know they don't travel well. Richmond gettable, that's 3. They were very good against Bulldogs earlier in the year. 4 wins, I think you can beat Gold Coast. Hawthorn are going to be tough. So I reckon if they win 4 of the last 7, Chriso, which would take them to 11 wins for the year, one better than last season. Now, given that they'd used Collingwood 38 players, including 5 debutants, through the first 12 rounds,
well,
I tell you what, it might not be a tick, but it's very close for the season. It makes something of what was a horrible start to the year. Do you agree? What do you think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. 4 out of 7 would be a good result, but 5 or even 6 would be even nicer.
Yeah.
And what a difference it made when Alex Fasolo was back in that team, and of course we had Brent Macaffer, Taylor Adams back in the team, and looking forward to 2017 with Jamie Elliott back into that forward line. It's going to be pretty potent, and of course Mason Cox on the sidelines. Tyson Goldsack played in the twos in the VFL as
Marley
well.
Williams.
Marley Williams played in the VFL. So all of a sudden there's lots of depth there, mate.
Just last one. Dare to dream for a second. What if they beat Adelaide this weekend? Finals,
we'll be up
would you
and
think
about.
September?
One thing we'll be up and about next Monday, I can tell you that.
Yeah, I look forward to that.
Looking forward to the big match at the Adelaide Oval on Saturday night. Hope you enjoyed this edition of The Agenda. Hope you can join us next Monday. Goodbye.